trying to survive in woodland. Mages killing riders, riders killing archers, archers killing mages. Just don't get your tree captured by opponent in Dreyfall.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play Dreyfall, game designed by Bryce Bickham and published by Bickham Games. And check out the link to the project page in the video description below.
And hi everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant, welcome to Meeple University.
And hey, if you enjoy this video after watching, like, subscribe and comments, you know what to do. Alright, now let's get to the classroom.
The mystical Dreystone has been fragmented, separated between the two home trees. Peace in the forest is broken as warring factions have set up, aiming to capture and steal the Dreystone fragment from their rival's tree, while doing their best to defend their own. Riders, guards, archers, mages, and thieves bring their own advantages to this tactical field of battle, and the first player to have their thief attack the opponent's home tree will win the game. To set up, lay out the board. Each player chooses a side and places their home tree on the indicated space. Each player's starting army comprises these 12 pieces: 4 guards, 3 riders, 2 archers, 2 mages, and a thief. Independently, each player arranges their pieces around their home tree however they want, the only restriction being that all pieces must be inside this darker green space, which is within 3 spaces of your home tree. Keep your 4 firewall pieces near the board for later use. Choose a first player who takes the 3 action cubes, and you're now ready to play. Dreyfall is played in turns, starting from the first player and going back and forward until the end of the game is reached. On your turn, take up to 3 actions, each of which must be with a different piece in your army. As such, you can't take 2 actions with the same piece on the same turn. After taking your action, you can mark the piece with a cube, and once you're out of cubes, retrieve them and give them to the other player to take their turn. There are 3 different actions in the game. There is move, and moving can include melee attack on an enemy piece. There is ranged attack, that is, removing an enemy piece at a distance. This is available only to mages and archers. And there is cast fire, a spell available only to mages. The first action is movement, and for now I'm going to talk about movement without melee attack. The boot on this table shows you how far each type of piece can move, and this is a range of 2 hexes for each piece except for your riders, who can move up to 3. Movement can be in any direction, forward or backward around the map, but you can never move into or through a hex containing one of your own pieces. So here the thief with 2 movement would not be able to get here and would have to go around its own guards. And you cannot go into or through the other player's pieces unless you're performing a melee attack, and this has some other restrictions which I'll explain a little bit later. A big part of the game of Dreyfall is tactical positioning, which blocks your opponents from advancing. Rooted firmly to the ground, your tree is naturally unable to move. The second action is cast fire, and this is a defensive spell which can be cast specifically by mages. The spell lets you create a firewall containing 2 fire pieces on the board in the mage's vicinity. Place the wall's first piece in an empty hex within 2 hexes of the mage and within line of sight. Line of sight is blocked by any piece on the board. So here the only hex blocked by line of sight was this one, with sight interrupted by this guard, but any other empty hex within 2 distance is valid. Then place the second fire on any empty hex adjacent to the first one. As such, the second part of the wall could be at range 3 or could be out of line of sight. You must place both parts of a firewall to take the action. Fire, like any other piece, blocks movement, making this mostly a defensive spell of setting up walls. However, these walls are temporary. They last until the start of your next turn, at which point they all burn out. Now we'll talk about attack. In the game there are two types of attack, melee and ranged. Melee attack occurs during a move, by moving the piece into the same hex as the piece it's attacking. The piece is removed and movement stops with any excess movement points lost. Ranged attack occurs as an action of its own without moving. This involves simply removing the valid targeted piece from the board. Thieves, guards and riders attack by melee. Mages attack by range, and much like for casting fire, their range is up to 2 hexes with line of sight. Archers attack by range, and they have a range of up to 3 hexes without requiring line of sight. Critically, however, different pieces are vulnerable only to specific other pieces' attack, and this is represented by the combat circle. Archers can attack only mages. Mages can attack either fires or riders. Riders can attack either guards or archers. Guards can attack either archers or thieves, and thieves can attack only the home tree. The restrictions of the combat circle will drive most of your tactical positioning during the game. So guards have movement range 2, attack by melee, and can attack only thieves and archers. With access to these two impeded, this is the only valid attack. Riders have movement range 3, melee attack, and can attack either archers or guards, making either of these valid targets. And remember, movement ends after attacking, meaning here that the third movement point is lost. Archers attack by range at a range of up to 3, regardless of line of sight, and can target only mages, so this archer's attack would remove the mage like so. Mages attack by range at a range of up to 2, and can target only opposing riders or fires, and only with line of sight. So this mage could attack this rider or this rider, but not this one because line of sight is blocked by the thief, or could attack this fire, but not this one, which is out of range. Finally, the thief moves 2 spaces, attacks by melee, and can attack only the home tree. This is the action you need to take to recover your fragment of the Dreystone and win the game. The only way to win the game is to capture your opponent's home tree with your thief, and the first player to do this wins the game. By extension, that means you must defend your thief. Thieves can be attacked by guards, and if you ever lose your thief to an opposing guard, you can no longer win the game. But that does not mean that you lose. The other player still needs to capture your home tree to win. If both players ever lose their thieves, the game ends immediately in a draw. As in chess, the game can also end in a draw by 3-fold repetition. That is, if the same sequence on the board occurs 3 times in a row. Here, for example, other than the thief attacking the tree, there are no more valid attacks. And on blue's turn, they can simply play 2 firewalls, blocking in the yellow thief and giving them no legal actions. The fires are removed and then cast again on each blue turn, and after repeating that 3 times, the game ends in a draw. There are a few official rule variants for the game. In the competitive mode of play, during setup, instead of everyone setting up simultaneously, you place your pieces 3 at a time, starting with the first player, then the second, and back and forward. This lets you respond to the placements your opponent makes. The kid-friendly variant simplifies some of the combat rules. You ignore the entire combat circle with 2 exceptions. being that the thief can only attack the tree, and the tree can be attacked only by the thief. The archer now needs line of sight to attack another piece, and the mage's firewall is changed, such that both fires are placed within a range of 3 hexes to the mage, rather than one piece having to be within 2. Finally, if players of different experience are playing, you can apply a handicap to the more experienced player, removing a rider from their army, then an archer, and so on until you think the game is balanced.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, maybe you'd like to watch this next one. Have a great day. Bye!